If you've heard me speak before or read anything that I put out there, you'll know that I love nothing more than shredding a grievance procedure. It gives me great pleasure shredding grievance procedures. So we're going to talk a little bit about today, if we're going to remove or think about alternatives to the sort of classic grievance, bullying, harassment, the GBH policies as I'll call them. What do we need to put in place in its stead? We'll focus on the resolution policy, the resolution procedure as it is here in Aviva, and we'll hear about that shortly. I'm going to focus on that policy framework.
Unresolved conflict has a massive impact on organisations, not only from productivity, but also on individuals' well-being and so on. So actually, the impacts that it can have this kind of blast radius within organisations.
We had lots of conversations in my old organisations around actually the absence of a good conversation, the ability to resolve conflict at the earliest possible opportunity, ends up with people having what we used to call chronic disembitterment syndrome. So fundamentally, people fall out of love for working in an organisation. So I think it's really important that we address it at the start as quickly as possible to maintain good working relationships.
We've had some real success stories, and over 80 cases this year, this annual year alone, we've gone through individual ownership. So 80 people who would previously have gone through a grievance have actually taken individual ownership for saying, okay, yeah, I might come back to you for another chat if that's all right, but actually I'm going to take this away and I will try and own it myself.
We do use mediation within the organisation. It has a fantastic impact. It's part of that triage process to say when we don't have a great starting relationship or where the relationship has started to suffer, it's an opportunity to improve that before we go to the formal steps of a grievance procedure.
Our experience with TCM over the last 18 months has been amazing, from helping us with our training to implementing a policy and then the ongoing support where cases have come up where we've needed support. They've helped us, and we're looking forward to working with them next year.
Why did we want to move towards resolution? Well, quite frankly, the results of our policies for grievance and the process we had were really poor. We rarely ended up with a positive outcome. It wasn't that we had huge volumes, but we knew that the whole process in itself was off-putting to people, and we were probably never getting to see or help resolve some of the disputes and conflicts within our organisation. So we knew that we had to change, and we looked at our processes and we could see they were time-consuming, they were costly, not just in terms of money and resource, but also in terms of people's well-being and the opportunity to move forward in a positive way. The process is inherently adversarial. It creates blame, it creates the accused, it creates victims, it creates, that I'm right, you're wrong. And it's very difficult once you get to that position to move things forward.
In practical terms, I think we need to ensure that our managers and our people have the ability to speak to each other and maintain trust and good working relationships. Conflict emerges from lack of understanding and lack of communication.
And when work is done to build those essential trust and communication skills, often a resolution can be found that works both for the individual and for the business.
You have to have a really great conversation and have that trust and openness. And this sounds easy for me to say, but these are the things that only start when people talk to each other, enjoy the experience, and in the end, like each other.
Policing's a hard environment. It's not an easy environment. You can't dip people in trauma and expect them, not to get wet. It has an impact. So really investing in well-being and resilience and really listening to what are the bugbears, what are the little things that we can do, became our mission of the importance of 100 little things.
From today's event, I'll be taking away the real importance of making sure that not just our managers, but all of our people in our organisation can talk to each other, maintain good working relationships and keep an open dialogue so we can listen to the workforce.
There's definitely some key things around how to resolve conflict informally in the first instance that will be really useful for us to embed in our company.